I don't talk about this often, mostly because no one would believe me, and if they did, they'd never sleep again. But if you're hearing this, I need you to understand something. Not every body that dies stays dead. Some are kept awake, buried in shadow, fed with rituals, bound to places they should have never been left, like the girl in the garden. It started after I moved into the caretaker's cottage near the old Frostwell estate. Small town, foggy roads, houses too far apart. The main house had been abandoned for years, an old colonial mess of wood and rust and ivy. But the cottage came with cheap rent, perfect for me. I had no idea what was buried out back. By the end of the first week, I started noticing the dolls, scattered along the edge of the garden. Little porcelain things, cracked, dirty, their dresses stiff with rot. At first, I figured someone was dumping trash, but then they started moving. Each morning, they'd be closer to the back porch, always in different positions. One was even holding a rusted key in her lap. I threw them out, every time. By nightfall, they were back. And around then, the dreams began. A girl's voice, humming, broken. Always the same tune, soft, but too close to my ear. Sometime during the second week, I found a wooden box buried under the ivy near the well. Small, hand-carved, no lock. Inside was a bundle of hair, human, braided with red thread, and a name stitched into a torn linen ribbon. That night, I heard scratching behind the bedroom walls, then under the floorboards, then over and over, feathers sticking to the glass like handprints. I dug up the garden out of pure desperation, and that's when I found the circle. Black candles melted into the soil, old bones arranged in symbols, a child's dress soaked in something thick, still red. Something had been buried there. Not once, but over and over, repeated. I was too scared to sleep indoors that night. I stayed in the car with the windows rolled up. At 3:13 a.m., I saw her, crawling out of the garden. Her mouth was stitched shut, eyes wide. She reached for the door handle, but didn't touch it. Just smiled. And worse, the spell had been broken. She was free. As the 7th week sank in, she started walking. Not crawling, not hiding. Walking. Footsteps at night, mud tracked across the floor, the sound of wet cloth dragging down the hallway. One morning I woke up with her braid next to me, the one from the box, but it was wet now and freshly cut. The whispering turned into speaking. She'd say my name now, sometimes from the corner of the room, sometimes from inside the closet, and once right behind me while I brushed my teeth. By the 8th week, the house locked itself, windows jammed, doors swelled shut, no cell signal, power gone, and in the garden, a new doll had appeared. It looked like me. Same clothes, same scar on the chin, same tired eyes. I tried to burn it, didn't even blacken. And in its tiny stitched mouth was the same linen ribbon, Maida. Now, I don't think I'm alone anymore. I don't sleep. I barely move. I hear her outside the room every single night, dragging one foot, and when I look into the mirror now, it shows her face. But she's not standing behind me. She's wearing me. So if you find a buried box in your backyard, leave it there. Don't open it. Don't cut the thread. Don't say the name. Because some children never get buried right, and some spells never fully wear off. I wasn't planning to stop in Korpilahti. Honestly, I wasn't even planning to drive through Finland. I was backpacking across Europe, solo, just me and my gear. Spent a month in Norway, came down through Sweden and finally crossed into Finland. Was supposed to head straight to Helsinki and fly out. But someone at my hostel in Jyväskylä told me the route through Korpilahti is scenic. Pine forests, frozen lakes, barely any traffic, just you and the road. They weren't wrong. It's scenic, all right. Scenic in the kind of way that makes you feel like you're the last person alive. I rented a small Skoda hatchback and set off just before sunset. It was late November. Not deep winter yet, but the light faded fast. By 4 p.m., the sky was already a deep blue-gray. Fog drifted low over the trees. The road was 2 lanes, winding through thick pine forest, frozen lakes on both sides, and zero sign of life. No shops, no towns. Just white road markings and the sound of tires crunching over frost. About 45 minutes in, I noticed my fuel dropping faster than expected. I still had about 50 kilometers to go, so I pulled over and opened Google Maps. There was a tiny dot nearby. Korpilahti. No photos, no ratings, just a pin. It was only 6 kilometers off route, and I figured it was worth checking for fuel or a shop, so I turned onto a smaller road, narrower, older, almost like a logging path. The trees here were taller, denser. It got quiet. Even the radio started crackling with static. I drove slowly for another 10 minutes before I saw the sign, Korpilahti, 1 kilometer. But then I saw her. A woman, maybe mid-30s, standing barefoot on the edge of the forest behind one of the houses. Her skin was gray, clothes thin like a nightgown or slip. Her hair was matted hanging in front of her face. She didn't move, didn't blink, just stood there. And as I stared, she lifted her hand and pointed directly at me. My foot hit the gas. I turned the car around so hard the tires slipped on frost, shot back toward the main road like my life depended on it. But the way back, it wasn't the same. I drove for 10 minutes and didn't reach the highway. I checked the odometer. I'd gone 9 kilometers, but there were no turns, no signs, no exit, just the same black trees and that frozen silence. And then there was a house. Same style, same door, wide open. And that woman, she was on the roof, crouched, watching me. I kept driving. Tried to shout, to pray, to scream at myself to wake up. And then I saw the sign again. Korpilahti, 1 kilometer. Same rotting wood, same black paint. Like I looped back, but I hadn't turned once. I don't remember how long I was stuck. Could have been 30 minutes, could have been 3 hours. But eventually I saw headlights, another car. I flashed mine, swerved across the road to block them. It was a Finnish couple, scared out of their minds when I ran up to their window. I must have looked crazy. I asked, "Where are we?" They told me we were 40 kilometers south, near Hartola, nowhere near Korpilahti. They'd never even heard of it. I tried finding the pin again on Google Maps. It's not there anymore. Just blank forest. No photos, no village, no Korpilahti. And sometimes I wonder, if I had gotten out of that car, if I had stepped into just one of those houses, Would I still be driving in circles inside a town that no longer exists?